Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie. I am a video editor and I work mostly on commercial and branded clients. Today we're talking about the not so glamorous part of freelancing, scams. Yup, they're real, they're sneaky, and they're targeting people like you and me, especially if you're just getting started. So let's get into the red flags and how to protect yourself. Let's start with the super common one, the classic overpayment scheme. So it usually goes like this. Someone reaches out about a vague project, they say they're in a rush, and they volunteer to pay for your computer for some reason. They accidentally send too much money, and when you cash the check, they ask for that overpayment in return. The check ends up being fraudulent, you owe the bank the full amount of the check, and you ended up just paying your scammers. Yikes. So here's the red flag, and there are so many in this story, honestly. First of all, no company is going to volunteer to pay for your computer if you're a freelancer. Yeah, an offer to pay for some souped up machine should definitely have alarm bells going off in your head. Pro tip, never cash checks from clients you don't know, and never cash a check that's not the exact amount on the invoice. I mean, even if it is a legitimate project with a client that you know, still don't cash the check. Fixing that accounting problem will be such a headache. I promise you it'll be easier just to get a new check issued. Personally, I prefer to stick to digital payments through Bill.com or QuickBooks, companies like that, if the company that you're working with doesn't have a payroll system set up already. Or you can ask that this client sends the payment via ACH direct deposit. Legitimate companies have already figured out a way to pay their vendors in a non-sketchy way. Vague or too good to be true offers. If a client finds you randomly on social media and offers to pay you lots and lots of money for an easy job, alarm bells should be going off in your head. Scammers will often send copy-pasted emails that say things like, "Hey talented video editor, I love your work. I have a quick video editing project and will pay $5,000 up front." But they won't share the name of the company, the brief, the client. Here's the red flag. They've given no project details, no contract, no legit communication trail. So if you ever go back and try to find them for legal purposes, you can't. Pro tip, if you're feeling like it's sketchy, do a deep dive into the company. It's typically pretty easy to find the format of company emails. So let's say you've gotten an email from I'm gonna use so many quotes today. So let's say you got an email from somebody at Nike. So let's say on LinkedIn, you look and you see multiple people with @Nike running as their email address. However, the person that's reached out to you is emailing you from a @Nike runs email account. Red flag. Do not proceed. Edit tests. Now this one is by far the most common and often is considered controversial. This might be a hot take. Edit tests always come across as scammy to me. This is how it usually goes. After a first round interview, the producer will reach out, say they want to move forward with you, but first they want to do an edit test. So they send you a huge folder of assets, footage, music, branding, maybe some sort of brief, and they want to see what you can do with it, which all sounds legitimate, right? Now this is the red flag and where you might be taken for a ride. What often happens with these companies is they put out this job application, they get hundreds of applicants, they do this edit test, unpaid, with everybody, and next thing you know, they have all the edits they need and they didn't have to pay for any of them. That's kind of messed up. Pro tip, legitimate brands will pay you for your time. I fully believe that if you have a strong portfolio, you do not need to do an edit test. But this is what I do when I get asked to do them. I simply say, hey, I'm happy to do this edit, but I will need to invoice for my hourly rate. And I usually don't get any responses. So I don't really care. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really bother me. I'm not really sure what that says about this whole process. Here is my caveat for edit tests. 1, if you are just starting out and you don't have a good, strong portfolio, I would consider doing an edit test. Or 2, if you're trying to jump to a drastically different genre. Let's say that you've been cutting reality TV shows and now you want to jump into social media ads. That's a very big genre jump, right? So I could see why a company would be justified in asking for an edit test, especially if you don't have social media work in your portfolio to back you up. And if that's the case, I do think that you should still be invoicing for your time. The dreaded questionnaire. Sometimes scammers will send a long PDF with a questionnaire. I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure what their angle is with this. If any of you guys know, please enlighten me. All I know is I don't like it. It's giving scam. Here's the pro tip. Every legitimate producer that I've worked with just prefers to hop on a call. That way they can get all of this information and then they also will get a read on your personality and see how you would fit within the culture of their company. And here's the red flag. This is a little conspiratorial and kind of just my theory, but I think that these identical questionnaires get sent out to prove to shareholders and the IRS that these companies are growing and they're expanding and successful and stuff. because they're hiring people. All the quotes, right? In addition, I think it's also a way for them to prove to these shareholders that they're willing to look at external hires when they really are just trying to hire internally. Now, again, I really have no basis for this information. It's just my hunch. All I know is I have gotten the exact same questionnaire from multiple different companies across a lot of different industries. And that just kind of raises a red flag in my brain, and I don't like it. So if any of you guys have insight into this, please drop a comment, let me know. And a bonus tip, because I'm so nice, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Repeat after me. Lower your expectations of LinkedIn. I haven't booked a single job from a LinkedIn posting, and I have applied for many a LinkedIn job. In my experience, they're all either underpaid, not actually looking for an editor. They're more so looking for like a jack of all trades type of, or like a producer. Some people just will call an editor a producer for some reason. I don't know. It's a phishing scam, or it's a front for a company that, like I said, makes it seem like they're growing. Or a combination of all of these things. So unless you're fresh out of college, have no experience, I would just avoid these LinkedIn job postings. I feel like it really is a waste of time. If I were you and I was just getting started, and this is what I still do actually when I have downtime, is reaching out to producers who are making work that you want to make. Yeah, I find these LinkedIn job postings to be quite a waste of time, and my time is better spent doing cold emails. All right, last up, how to protect yourself. Here's how I mark myself safe from scammers. For one, I never work without a contract. For me, this doesn't always mean necessarily like sign on the dotted line. It's just an explanation in emails of what all the expectations are as far as the project deliverables, the timeline, the payment, like the amount that you're getting paid, whether it's a day rate or a project rate, and then the payment timeline. And if you're working with a new, potentially sketchy client, if you're going to venture out that way, an actual written out contract is essential. Ask for a 50% deposit. This is more common than you'd think. And you can use an invoicing tool like QuickBooks or Bill.com to make that really easy. Trust your gut. I cannot say this enough. If something feels off, it probably is. And use Google, not ChatGPT. Use Google. Do the name of the person plus scam, email plus scam, do the email address plus freelance editor, or even copy and paste the email and see what comes up. And lastly, definitely talk to your network, talk to your production friends. Freelancing can feel isolating, but it really doesn't have to be. And your reputation, even if you work, isolated in a dark room by yourself as an editor, your reputation can precede you. Your reputation is everything. So if something feels fishy, definitely DM a friend or post it on an editor group. Me personally, I love the editors subreddit, and I feel like they really do call it like they see it. Okay, and that's it for today. Let me know in the comments if you have any tips to add, or if you yourself have been scammed. I want to know, obviously. And we really have to look out for each other in this industry. If you feel like this video helped you, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell so you get notified every time I post. Stay smart, stay safe, get paid, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.